So if you're ready to go back in time to ancient Israel, then let's get started. Back in part 5, we saw the kingdom of Israel reach new heights under the rule of David and Solomon. But when the kingdom split into two, God's people began to falter. Now, in part 6, we'll see how both kingdoms fall into exile and discover the tiny spark of hope that God promised would lead to their return. So grab your sandals, break off a piece of bread, and join us for part 6 of the epic journey of God as chosen people, the 12 tribes of Israel, the fall of the northern kingdom. After Solomon's death, the kingdom of Israel split into two, with the northern kingdom consisting of 10 tribes and the southern kingdom made up of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. Sadly, the northern kingdom quickly turned away from God and began to worship idols, setting up golden calves and bowing down to Baal. Despite warnings from prophets like Elijah and Elisha, the people wouldn't turn back. In 722 BC, the Assyrian Empire swept through Israel like a mighty wind, conquering the land and scattering the people. Only 3 short decades later, the once proud nation of Israel was gone, with many of its people lost forever among the nations. These became known as the Lost Tribes of Israel. The southern kingdom holds on. The southern kingdom of Judah and Benjamin lasted much longer. For over 200 years, they clung to God, refusing to turn to idols or bow to surrounding empires. But they weren't perfect. Kings like Manasseh led the people into sin and injustice, causing God to send them into exile. In 586 BC, the Babylonian Empire, under the rule of King Nebuchadnezzar, marched into Judah and laid siege to Jerusalem. After destroying the city and burning the temple, he carried the people away to Babylon. This event, known as the Babylonian Exile, was a devastating blow to the nation of Israel. As the tribes wept by the rivers of Babylon, longing for their homeland, they remembered the words of the prophets, including Jeremiah, who foretold a 70-year period of exile, after which God would bring them back to their land. Life in exile. Though scattered and broken, the people of Israel didn't forget their God. In Babylon, faithful leaders like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego showed that even in exile, God was still with his people. Despite facing hunger, hardship, and persecution, they held fast to their faith, praying 3 times a day and worshiping the one true God. The prophets continued to speak God's message, offering hope for the future. Ezekiel, for example, had a vision of dry bones coming to life, symbolizing that even a nation as broken as Israel could be restored. They returned to the land. After 70 years, something amazing happened. God moved the heart of King Cyrus of Persia, who had recently conquered Babylon. In 538 BC, Cyrus issued a decree allowing the Jews to return to their homeland and rebuild the temple. Over the next few decades, 3 waves of exiles returned to Israel, each time bringing more people back to their land, led by figures like Zerubbabel, Ezra, and Nehemiah. The returning exiles worked together to rebuild not only the temple, but also the city walls of Jerusalem. Though smaller and weaker than before, the people were overjoyed to be back in their homeland. Not all of the tribes returned. Many remained scattered throughout the Middle East and Europe. But Judah, Benjamin, and Levi formed the heart of the restored people of Israel. Though they were now a shadow of their former selves, they held on to God's promises of a future king from David's line who would save his people and usher in an era of peace and prosperity. Lessons from exile and return. The exile was undoubtedly a devastating chapter in Israel's history. It was a time of great suffering and loss, but it also taught the tribes some very powerful lessons. It showed them that sin and disobedience would bring consequences, but God's mercy and faithfulness could bring restoration. Even when they were scattered and broken, God's presence never left them. And though many of the tribes remained exiled among the nations, the promise of hope kept them going. The prophets had foretold a future Messiah who would come from the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah, and Israel. This sparked the belief that one day the scattered tribes would be reunited under their future king, bringing about an age of peace and prosperity for God's people. So there you have it. Part 6 of the journey of the 12 tribes of Israel. Stay tuned for part 7, where we explore how the promises made to Israel pointed to the coming of the Messiah, and how the story of the 12 tribes reached its ultimate fulfillment. And don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe and share this video so that more people can learn about the amazing journey of God's chosen people. Until next time, Shalom.